Hello everyone, I'm Hida and with the other team member, Mila, Adi, Brian, Abi, and Afi. And we as a team have worked on analyzing Netflix incorporation in terms of the company's branding, which being analyzed towards the external narratives. And in this opportunity, we will present to you the strategic communication in order to fill the gap that happened due to certain issues. A glimpse about Netflix. So before discussing the key issues, let us explain a bit about the company's overview. So Netflix operates as a streaming entertainment service company, a firm that provides subscription service of diversified streaming movies, documentaries, and TV shows over the internet, and become one of the few platforms that doesn't interrupt viewers' experience with advertisements. And the company works with their missions, which are to be the best in class entertainment and has a global dominance. Netflix also have such a promotional tagline, "See what's next," for their company branding, which is aligned to their mission statement to dominate the market in a particular industry. And Netflix certainly have their key partners, which are investors and the media producer, and which it also becomes Netflix's main key resources since it determines the releases or shows that we're going to have on our platform. And with the mission in hand, it's shown on the record in which from 2001 to 2021, the number of Netflix subscribers has increased from less than 500,000 to 203.66 million subscribers. And during the COVID-19 pandemic, the company has more than 5 million new subscribers, which increased company revenue and demand for new content. The company also has become a leading company in the video streaming industry, specifically in the United States, compared to their competitors, which has the largest market share for about 37.6% in the previous year. Also, looking into the financial performance, over the 5 years to 2020, company's revenue is expected to grow an annualized 22.5% to $11.5 billion and operating income to be at $2 billion. We actually quoted this statement from the earning calls have done in the second quarter in 2021, in which the statement are quite showing what values that Netflix trying to communicate to their investors, as well as Netflix strategy to beat the competitors in order to survive in the market.
Hello, greetings to the Director of Corporate Communication. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Brian, and at this opportunity, I am going to deliver the topic of Netflix external narratives. At this part, I will be explaining the outsider's perspective of Netflix, which will be focusing on researchers and the news media. Let's jump into it. Okay, to start things off, we are going to talk about Netflix's external perspective from the eyes of researchers. There are plenty of journals and articles out there that talk about Netflix, but I've chosen three topics that are mostly highlighted in those journals and articles. First up, we have the Netflix effect. The Netflix effect is a made-up term, but in one of the journals, representing a binge-watching trend on Netflix, especially among young people. On a research report, it is shown that 10% of people can finish a season of a show in a 24-hour period. This is among the age demographic of 18 to 34. Next up, Netflix is seen as controversial with their original shows. One of their original shows, named 13 Reasons Why, stirred up depression among teenagers, which is not really the show's target market. This show have caused suicide attempts among teenagers according to a single children's hospital report in 2018. And lastly, we have Netflix's algorithm. There are plenty of articles regarding Netflix's algorithm of recommendation of shows. Some of them finding it revolutionary, but some also find it inaccurate and needs more work on the user approach. It is a mixed bag of results. Well, that sums up what researchers said about Netflix as a company. On the next part, I will be discussing about Netflix perception on the eyes of the news medium. Alright, on to the last part. We are going to discuss about Netflix's external perspective, which is from the news media. Netflix is no stranger to serve buzzing topics on news outlets. Mostly, Netflix's perspective and the news media are determined by their original programs, as well as their hired actors. We are currently seeing a collection of news that I've chosen, as seen here. The media perceives Netflix as controversial with their TV shows in India, as well as their hired actor Kevin Spacey, which happens to be on a scandal a few years ago. Netflix is also perceived as losing their dominance in the streaming world, with new competitions thriving such as Disney Plus and Amazon. Aside from that, Netflix is also battling other companies that provide streaming services. One of the examples is them competing against HBO for the hit comedy show Friends license. Lastly, Netflix and other streaming companies are battling illegal sites that provide pirated contents, which cost them a massive loss in revenues. Well, that's all to talk about Netflix's external narratives. The next part, which is key challenges, will be explained by my friend. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian, for the opportunity. I'm Milautania. I would like to explain about the challenges we found from the external narratives. Every company has its challenges in running its business. So does Netflix. As a digital streaming media service provider, Netflix strives for its company to excel in the market. However, they still have to face several challenges, both internally and externally. So, what are the challenges? I will explain through the next slide. Back again with me. For the challenges, there are customer interest, competition industry, obtaining right, and digital piracy. For the first challenge that Netflix has to face is realizing customer interest through delivery system. The impact of this delivery system allows Netflix to reach wider audience, not only in the US but also overseas. However, reverting to Android in 2007, this delivery system raised problems preference of each audience and laws of each country. It means Netflix is dealing with diverse consumer base that might not accept all culture that US accept. Second challenge is to survive in the digital media industry. As we know, there are many companies that are also engaged in digital media industry. For example, Disney, YouTube, and others. Corp in 2017 said that those companies compete with Netflix, especially for those who are provide several similar features. Third challenge is obtaining right. This is related to contract agreement between Netflix and studio providers. If Netflix doesn't pay attention to this, the content right for one or several series may be lost. Last challenge is about digital piracy. As the time goes by and the rapid development of technology, copyright infringement in the world of cinema occurs a lot. Viewers can watch pirated films through illegal website or application, and it also can be downloaded. That's all a brief of Netflix challenges. Adi will explain about what issue we focus on this presentation. Stay tuned and thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Adi Akbar. I'm going to talk about the key issues of Netflix. So, as is stated in the first part, has been known that Netflix are trying its best to be the best in class entertainment and has a global dominance effect. However, in order to do so, they will have to compete with another platforms like Disney Plus, HBO, Apple, and many more. And to achieve the purpose of having this global dominance purposing, Netflix is required to tap in toward the niche market of each country. Aside from competing against another streaming platform, Netflix is also having head-to-head fight against illegal streaming websites around the web. And according to data in early 2019, Netflix has been pirated for about 26 months, making it the longest among another platform. And also due to the suffering for digital piracy, Netflix has been reported losing more than $190 million. Even before the COVID-19 pandemic, digital piracy has always been a thing from back then. Thousands of illegal websites in Southeast Asia stream the latest hit shows and movies content coming from the legitimate sources to the viewers coming from Vietnam to the Philippines. Meanwhile, other operators sell cheap hardware that will allow them to access to the pirated content. In 5 out of 6 countries in Southeast Asia, more than half of them respond in Asia Video Industry Association survey said that they use illegal streaming platform in 2019. The Philippines has the highest rate, which is about 66%, admitting that they have been doing so. Meanwhile, in Indonesia, it is stated that 62% of them who visited the illegal site have been canceling their paid service subscription. Also, pirate sites in Asia often have links themselves to the online gambling, making them offer more entertainment that will allow pirates to draw more customers to gambling sites and gain revenue from it, thus making digital piracy one of the issues that Netflix needs to look at. That's all from me. After this, Abi will continue explaining his part. Thank you.
Thank you for the chance. Let me introduce myself. My name is Abisarin Galib. In the following presentation, I would like to discuss about key stakeholders. So here it is. Based on our discussion, after identifying the key challenges and knowing the external narrative about Netflix, we prioritize three key stakeholders that are impacted by the key issue. The first key stakeholder that we can identify are basically the customer. We found that customers are one of the most crucial stakeholders for Netflix because their main source of income comes from customer subscription. Regarding the issue mentioned previously about the high competition in the market, basically, in other perspective, it also become an opportunity for the company to gain more income. If Netflix can ensure that they really pay attention to their customer and provide unique content to local customer, it will be beneficial for them as the trend of competition rises. Otherwise, customer can easily criticize the site if they are not happy with the system or content. It will affect the brand image since they also have the power to control the company reputation. And the second one is the shareholders. As a publicly traded company, the company's reputation really matters. If the issue of this company cannot be solved, it will affect shareholders' decision to invest in this company. Due to pandemic situation, people surprisingly had to spend more time at home, and Netflix should be able to analyze this opportunity to attract more shareholders. And then the last one is media partner. As one of the world's largest streaming video service, dealing with digital piracy has become one of the biggest challenges for a company in this industry. Finding the best solution to avoid people streaming illegally would be a never-ending obstacle. As we know, the cost to produce one film or content will spend a lot of money. So therefore, most of the media partners, such as media producers and film studio, were significantly affected by the issue. And I think that's all from me about the key stakeholders. And the next part will be explained by my colleague Afifa. So Afifa, time is yours.
Well, thank you, Abby. Now we come to the last part. My name is Afifa Hurota Ainin, and I will explain about the communication objectives that we can use to bridge the gap of the company. But Before going with the very general recommendations, here I would like to give you all a brief summary of the previous sections. As my colleague has said in the first sections, we know that Netflix is basically one of the largest digital streaming media service providers that is constantly striving to be the best in its industry. Even so, Netflix still faces several problems such as dealing with customers' interests, for example, adjusting its customers' culture, survive and compete with other digital industries, content protection rights, and of course, digital piracy. Knowing that Netflix is still vulnerable to many problems, on these occasions, we want to focus on the Netflix competitions, which may also have a direct impact on the stakeholders. In this case, we would like to recommend three things based on the stakeholders that can bridge the company's gap. First, for the customers, Netflix can educate customers to buy legal products. In this case, we believe that educate the customers to not buy or streaming illegally can help the company to survive. And of course, indirectly such a best way to give appreciations for the work they do. The second is for investors, namely by communicating that Netflix continues to improve its uniqueness among the rest. And the last is media partners. What we can do to speed up communications for media partners is basically to promote the legal content and unique serials. That's all from us. Thank you for your kind attention and see you on the next presentations.